How's it going? It's Chad Calhagen. So, got a really nice surprise earlier today. A press release for the Alcatel PULSEMIX coming to Cricket Wireless July 21st. And Cricket Wireless likes to release phones on Friday, so this is going to be no exception to that. This phone is going to have a regular price of $79.99. The port-in price, which is pretty sweet since it'll be brand new, obviously, is going to be only $29.99. Very cool. And the usual stipulation of you can't be either a postpaid AT&T customer or any kind of prepaid customer. So we're talking all the MVNOs, just as usual. So no Go phone, no H2O, no, well, anything that just quite literally uses AT&T's towers, whether it's owned by AT&T or not, is not eligible for the port-in sale. Everybody else, though, you're good. So T-Mobile, post and prepaid, Sprint, post and prepaid, Verizon, post and prepaid, you're good. All right, the PULSEMIX is going to have Nougat 7.0, a 5.2-inch Dragon Trail 2D glass screen, 720 by 1080 resolution. It is going to have an ambient light sensor for auto brightness, so that'll be nice. It does not appear to have a front notification light. However, we're going to get into how notifications will work on this phone in a bit. It's going to be using a MediaTek MTK 6738 quad-core processor running at 1.5 gigahertz. So reasonably capable, especially for the price point. Very nice. 16 gigabytes of storage, 2 gigabytes of RAM. It's going to be supporting officially SD cards up to 128 gigabytes. That's a lot of space, but as usual with any of the officially supported numbers for SD cards, you're always welcome to try a larger card and see if it works. So keep that in mind, but 128 should be just fine for most people. 8 megapixel rear camera with a dual tone flash. Very sweet. So that was nice to see. That rear camera also is capable of full HD 1080p video recording. Very nice. Front camera, a little bit skimpy on the specs. According to Alcatel's website, that's only going to be a 2 megapixel camera. Kind of a bummer. However, not unlike the Pixie Theater from Alcatel, that will have a front flash. So I've heard that camera is not too bad considering the low megapixel count. So I wouldn't worry too much about it, but obviously you're not going to be taking like the world's best selfies and front facing video with that camera. So keep that in mind. 2800 milliampere hour non-removable battery. So that's not too bad. Unsurprisingly non-removable, since that seems to be the direction we're moving to with most phones lately, and especially with Alcatel. I don't recall any time recently at any price point for Alcatel I saw a removable battery. I mean, I have seen them do that, but it's been a few years. This phone will be running 4G LTE, of course, on the bands 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, and 12. No band 30. I was kind of hoping for that, but certainly not the end of the world. This will be HD voice capable, which is nice, and this I found interesting. It will also be voice over Wi-Fi capable once Cricket rolls that out. I've heard rumors of that coming out. I'm not sure when it will be out, but that's nice to see that this phone is already thinking ahead for that. So that's pretty cool. This is good to see, especially considering the price point. Dual band 802.11 AC, so that will have both the 2.4 and 5 gigahertz of Wi-Fi support. Very nice. Running Bluetooth 4.2, and this has got USB Type-C. Sweet. Very nice to see that. So obviously that's going to be good for when you're charging your phone. For those of you who are unfamiliar with USB Type-C, when you go to plug your USB cable in, it's going to be similar to that lightning cable for iPhones, where you don't have to worry about up or down because it's all the same. So that's nice. And I know that Type-C is good with the faster data transfer as well. Here's one thing I was a little bit unsure of. This phone was listed on Alcatel's website as to having a 1-watt speaker on board. So should be reasonably loud at 1 watt. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's good. I'm not totally sure of the location though. That's what was weird. There's a really extremely similar model that Alcatel has not quite released. It's going to be coming out about the same time, if not the same day. I'm not positive. It's the A50. That is listed to having a front-facing speaker, and cosmetically it looks pretty much the same as the PULSEMIX. If I had to guess, it appears that the way the speaker grill looks for the earpiece area of the phone, that very well could be where the actual speaker is for just kind of everything. Speakerphone, regular phone calls, and possibly music here. So don't completely quote me on that, but since the A50 is so similar, that's more than likely where it is. So, okay, now that we're through with the specs, I'm just going to touch a little bit on what makes this phone interesting beyond just the price point. It's got the color catcher, which I've never heard of this before, so I was intrigued right away. It's basically described as it pulls color elements from photos to create color coordinated themes for your home screen, icons, and for the SNAPBAK light shows. And the SNAPBAK is something that was prominently featured in a lot of what has already been talked about with this phone. And if you're curious about the LightUp SNAPBAK, one model that you can research a little bit would be the A5 LED. And that model already had come out, and that has the LightUp SNAPBAK. So there's videos and unboxings and things, so you can check that out. It's very slick. The LED SNAPBAK is a back cover that is completely covered in LEDs, multicolor, and basically it's described as featuring an array of customizable LED lights that provide illuminated notification alerts for incoming calls, emails, messages, and so on. And then it also can be customized for what they describe as light shows. And I know that I had read that you can also set it up to react to music that you're listening to. So very cool, very adaptive. Well, normally it's a deal breaker for me to not have a front LED notification indicator light. I'm very much interested in this rear cover. Now it's a little bit loud for my taste in regards to just having your phone just flashing and going crazy for everybody to kind of turn their head and look at you with your phone up to your ear on a phone call. So hopefully it won't be going during that time. Because if you're trying to have a private conversation, I mean, I feel like the last thing you want is to have everybody staring at you. But I think that's pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to finding out more about the LightUp rear cover. Now, the included cover that comes stock with Cricket, of course, is not the LightUp cover. That is an accessory you have to purchase separately, which is kind of a bummer. I was hoping it would come with that, but that's okay. Because from what I've read, it's the back cover that comes with it is a nice, very nice looking plain black. And it's made of metal. So that's really nice. So I feel like for the price point, you're going to have an extremely premium feeling phone here. I'm not really sure how they were able to make a metal back cover that's removable. So they must have figured out how to get a nice little bit of flex to the casing in order to allow for that to be removed. So that's pretty cool. I'm sure there could be other phones with metal rear covers that are removable, but I'm not specifically familiar with them, so that's why I was really surprised to hear that. There are a couple other snapback accessories, and as you can imagine, they're called snapback accessories for the obvious reason that they snap on and off. And that was one thing that I thought was a little bit crappy about this phone, was that since the back cover was removable, I was like, all right, come on, removable battery. But that's okay, because one of the accessories, one of the snapback accessories, is a power snapback, and that's a 3,000 milliampere hour battery pack. So at first I thought, okay, well, this is just a replacement battery. Well, it's actually not. This is in addition to the battery that's already in the phone. So if you're already rolling with a 2,800 milliampere hour battery on board as it is, if you're going to add on to that 3,000 milliampere hours, I mean, that's almost 6,000 milliampere hours. I mean, just think about that. Let that sink in, to have a phone with a battery capacity that size. As you can imagine, it is a pretty bulky cover with that whole extra battery in there. So you're going to want to keep that in mind. But, I mean, for that much extra battery power, I think you can look past that. So that's really nice. And then the final snapback accessory that will be available will be an attachable back with 2 stereo speakers along with an integrated kickstand. They're going to be 2.5 watts a piece, so unsurprisingly, they're going to be more than twice as loud. Each of them is going to be more than twice as loud as what's already built onto the phone, so this is going to be way more volume. Not totally sure as to the quality of them as far as the tone of the music or anything, but I have heard that they get really loud, which, I mean, I already kind of gathered from 2.5 watts a piece. But so that's pretty cool, and those are even bulkier than the battery pack power snapback accessory. But I mean, at the trade-off of having some pretty good sized speakers with the kickstand, I mean, I'd say that's also a good trade-off. Now, unfortunately, at this time, I do not know how much the sound snapback, the power snapback, and then the LightUp snapback, none of those have prices released at this time that I'm aware of. So if there is a price for any of those, maybe the A5 LED already has those available, and I'm sure that they'd be compatible. Maybe not though, I don't know, since that is technically a different model. Maybe it just happens to have the same accessories. Maybe some of the pins won't line up 100% with this model phone, so I'm not sure about that. If there are prices that anyone is aware of or can find, please share them with me in the comments down below. I would love to find out, but otherwise I don't believe those prices are available. Well, I believe that's all I know about it, and I've rambled on now for way longer than I had intended to when I set out to make this video, so I think this is a good place to end it. If you've actually watched this extremely boring video from start to finish, I appreciate it. And if you could please do me a favor and hit the like button for me, and please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this in the near future. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.